The lie of society is that you can win without doing whatever it takes, and you just can't. You're not that good. I'm not that good. Nobody's that good. Nobody. Okay? So to think that you can get by and build a career as an entrepreneur or build a career as an intrapreneur doing what you feel like doing as opposed to what the it takes is a false expectation. There are too many people who are high skilled, have tons of experience, have tons of resources, and have come from nothing and are willing to do whatever the it takes, that you cannot beat them unless you at least, at a bare minimum, do everything perfect. And that's the disconnect between, people, what they think it takes to win and what it actually means to be a competitor and win. What is up, guys? It's Andy Frisella, and this is the show for the realists. Say goodbye to the lies, the fakeness, and delusions of modern society, and welcome to reality. Guys, today we have Q&AF. That's where you submit the questions, and we give you the answers. You can submit your questions a couple different ways. First way is...
Guys, email these questions in to Ask Andy at andyfrisella.com.
Or you go on YouTube. You go in the bio there underneath the video on the Q&AF episodes. Click the link. You can submit your question to be answered live on the show. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
All right. That's how we do it here. Now, since it is Monday, I'm going to give you the rundown for the week. We're going to have CTI. That stands for Cruise the Internet. That's where we put topics on the screen. We speculate on what's going on, what's true, what's not true, and then we talk about how we, the people, have to solve these problems going on in the world. Other times, we're going to have real talk. Real talk is just 5 to 20 minutes of me giving you some real talk. And then we have 75 hard verses occasionally, okay? If you're unfamiliar with the 75 hard program, you can get it at episode 208 on the audio feed. Again, that's 208 on the audio feed. 75 hard is the initial phase of the Live Hard program, which is the world's most famous mental transformation program ever. And again, it's free. So it's episode 208 on the audio feed. Occasionally, we bring people on who have used the program to turn their life from a dumpster fire into a spectacular palace of winning. I think that's accurate, right? So there is also a book. The book is available at andyfrisella.com. It is called The Book on Mental Toughness. And it is not free, but it is very valuable. Now, we are the biggest show in the world that does not run ads. And if you are watching on YouTube and YouTube runs ads, that's YouTube's ads. We don't do reads and take money to say things. We ask very simply in return that you help us share the show. All right? If it makes you think, if it makes you laugh, it gives you new perspective. If it's good information, if it helps you, don't be a hoe.
Share the show.
Yeah. What's up?
Good morning.
Morning.
I had fun with you last night.
You had fun with me last night? That was fun.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
Good time. We should do that.
We
more
did
often.
not do anything gay. Just for clarification.
No, it was a good time though, man. I'm still. Yeah. It was a good time. We watched the UFC fight last night.
Yeah, man. Poirier's last fight.
Yeah, Poirier's last fight. It was a good fight. It was
a great fight.
He got his ass whooped. It was a good fight.
I don't even think he got his ass whooped. I thought it was a pretty good fight.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely Holloway had the upper hand more of the fight.
Yeah.
Which is why he won.
Yeah.
But I thought it was pretty good. We also have a Brazilian jiu-jitsu legend in studio.
Mm-hmm.
All right, one of the top ranked BJJ up and comers right here. Sitting next to you.
We should do how they do the interviews in the ring.
You should just you just ruined it. What's it like to be a BJJ legend?
It's great.
It's great. Man of many words.
Here, come here. Look.
Yeah.
All right, we got Madat here.
Yeah.
Madat, why do you like to roll with guys?
So Madat won his tournament. What did you get? 2 first place?
No, just one. I was only in one bracket.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't do the open weight.
It's another first place. You're leading by 200 points in the rankings?
100 something, yeah.
Yeah. So he's doing very well.
He's doing great.
Yeah.
Doing great.
So we just had to acknowledge that as well. What's your secret, dude?
Consistency.
Yeah. Oh, it's not just luck, overnight success.
Consistency.
You didn't just come out of bed kicking everybody's ass.
Unfortunately, not.
Yeah.
He's been grinding. How long you been doing it? It's been, what, 3 years now?
3.5.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Fuck,
awesome,
man.
dude.
We
Congrats.
got winners here, man. Winners on the
That's
team,
right.
bro.
Fucking winners win.
Winners win, man. Well, sweet. Let's get into some questions. Let's help other people win. How about that? I'm down with that. Q&AF. So let's make some people better today. We're going to start with the call. Get things going nice and easy. Let's give our boy Hunter a call.
Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter.
I wonder if he hunts.
You writing his jokes?
I get him straight from Z.
Yeah.
What is going on?
He hunts. 100% he hunts. What's up,
Yeah.
Hunter? What's up, dude?
What's going on, DJ?
What's going on, brother?
Hunter, what's up, dude?
How's it going, Andy?
Doing good, bro. How are you? Where are you calling from?
We are from like northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area. I have my wife and a good friend of mine and his wife in the car.
All right. What are you guys up to today?
We're heading home from the lake.
All right.
Bro, he hunt. Do you hunt, Hunter?
I have before.
Okay, all right.
Once.
I don't miss.
Once doesn't count as a hunter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. Just like that time you did that gay shit.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. $50, $50. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it was Black Friday. It was half off.
$25.
Hunter, what's
It's
going
one
on,
of them
man?
doorbusters.
How can we help you?
Not a whole lot. So I guess I could just read my question. But it's basically, I guess I'll give you a background. I work for a plumbing contractor. And I'm not a plumber. I'm a project manager, estimator. I kind of do a little bit of everything. But recently it's been pretty tough because I try to value loyalty and sticking around. But they've kind of admitted that I'm out of sight, out of mind because I'm in like a separate department. So I've had a struggle with opportunity because they continue to tell me like I'm too young to do this, I'm too young to do that. And it's just been trying to decide like what's best for me. Do I stay doing what I'm doing, keep my head down and grinding and hope that eventually like the opportunity comes, or do I try to find another place to go where I know for sure there's opportunity guaranteed? If that makes sense.
How old are you?
I'm 24.
Okay. So like dudes that were 19 founded the country. I'm pretty sure you're old enough to do whatever the you want to do. Let's be real.
I would agree.
Yeah. All right. What do you think you should do?
Kind of think that it's worth I've kind of started looking around and kind of talking to other companies and seeing what's out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like it's not a bad idea to get kind of some exposure to other companies and see what they offer and make sure that it's not me thinking wrong and seeing if the opportunity is there.
You mean
or if I
like
should
the
just
grass is
kinda-
always greener type scenario?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this, dude.
I'm kind of,
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm kind of leaning towards staying and just being completely honest with them and opening up and saying, like, I know this is why you guys make a lot of decisions because of my age, but I mean, if you give me a chance, like I'll prove it kind of deal.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I was running my own shit at 19 years old. Not that I was very good at it, but I mean, we got to be bad at things before we get good at them.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, dude. Is this the job you want to do for your whole life?
Yeah, I think so. That's the thing. Like, I feel like I've been at the company a little over 4 years. So like, I enjoy the people I'm around. I enjoy what I do.
That's a big deal.
And I just don't know if I've had enough time in it to say like, okay, this is exactly what I want to do the rest of my life. But I do enjoy what I do.
Well, that's a huge deal, bro. A lot of people do things they hate for money and they end up ruining their lives. So,
Yeah.
So, all right. Here's what I would do if I were you. I would go to your company and I would say, hey, look, I love what I do. I love what I'm doing here. I want to progress. I want to build. I want to be a more important part of the company. I want a career path. I'm 24 years old. I'm very hungry. I want this company to win. What can I do more to be more involved? What do you guys need done? And then listen to what they say. And if they say something, that sounds like they're not down with that, I think it's important for you to have an open mind about finding a different career path, because the last thing that you, or with another company, the last thing you want to do is get trapped in some company that's stale and isn't wanting to grow or do things because somebody else is comfortable. That's not what you want to do.
Yeah.
All right. So I would clarify that. I think, just being honest with them, being direct with them, being professional with them will probably garner you a lot of respect and help diminish that feeling they have about you being too young. A lot of times when, young men make it known that they've thought about their careers, they're serious about their careers, it garners respect from the leadership. They stop looking at them as little kids and start looking at them as grown men. And those things come from honest conversations that you should never be afraid to have, especially when it's in terms of your career. So it sounds to me like you have a pretty good grasp on this, bro, but you just need to communicate a little better and a little more directly. And I bet with a little bit more communicating directly, these guys are going to have a little more respect for you, which is probably going to open some doors. The one thing I will say, when you first started talking about this, you said something about waiting for the opportunity to come. Don't do that, okay? Opportunities are never coming. You have to assume they're never coming. A lot of people will wait and wait and wait and wait and wait for an opportunity that never comes. The whole idea of opportunity is you have to take it. You have to capitalize on it. You have to develop the skill set that is needed to capitalize on that opportunity. And to be honest, dude, you're going to have to break the doors down on your own, because nobody wants to give the new guy opportunity. They see it as a threat. They see it as, Hunter's going to take some of this or some of this of mine or some of my hours or some of my salary. And the only types of people that really value ambition when it comes from young people are the ownership and leadership of the company that wants to grow beyond where they are right now. So, dude, don't wait. That's the biggest thing. Do not wait. Go in, assert yourself, be a leader. Don't be afraid because you're young that they're not going to take you serious. They're not going to take you serious unless you go in and force your way in. So that would be the one thing that I would say, you need to tweak your thinking on a little bit from what you said.
Yeah, and I've kind of sort of already done that, where I've explained to them that I'm not happy with exactly what I'm doing. I want to do more. I'm hungry. I'm young. I got the time. I got the motivation. I got the discipline. And they've kind of sort of brushed it off. So I did sit down with a couple other companies and kind of talk to them. And I just don't want to sit around and wait and hope that, this other company gives me a better offer. And then, like you said, grass isn't always greener. I show up there and I hate it. And I'm like, man, I regret that.
Yeah,
so,
for sure, dude. I mean, it's a big decision, no doubt. The best bet that you have is to come to some sort of an agreement about where you're going to go in the company that you're in and you already have investment in. For sure.
Yeah.
But if they're close, bro, sometimes they're not open to that. So you just got to be prepared, which it sounds like you are.
Yeah, and I think it's hard because, like you said, they have their exact mindset is they have guys that are afraid to have somebody trained under them because they think they're going to take their job or kind of push them out of the way.
Yeah, well, that's a them problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's not a you problem.
Yeah.
You got to worry about you, bro. Nobody's going to worry about you. They're not. You have any kids?
No.
Okay, but are you planning on it someday?
Hopefully soon, yeah.
Yeah, so you better start, thinking of when these people do that shit, they're taking food off your table. You know what I'm saying? Bro, nobody gives a shit, man. They just don't. And a lot of times, because we're nice people and we're good-hearted people, we think that other people are going to like let us eat, but they're just not, bro. It's not the way the world works. And so you have to remember that it is your job as a man to go out and make shit happen for yourself. And dude, none of these other dudes are going to want to give you anything that they have. So you've either got to go in and take it, or you've got to make your own lane to where you can become very valuable and be able to take care of you and your family. Which, dude, you know, at 24 and you're already thinking the way that you're thinking, I don't think is going to be a problem for you. Most dudes at 24 are still sitting in their mom's basement and video game headset on. You know what I mean?
Drinking Hot Pocket.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So unfortunately, that's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, bro, I think you got it figured out for the most part, dude. Go in there and tell them what you're going to do. And if they don't agree to it, just go take it anyway.
I love it. Yeah. Well, I appreciate your guys' time.
Yeah, brother.
And I really appreciate what you guys do for this country. And it's just, I think we need more people like that. And I'm glad you guys are taking your time and energy to do that for this world.
You're doing it. That's the reason we do this, is so young men like you will go out and take their lives seriously and kick ass. So thank you.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Appreciate you, brother.
Have a good one. Thanks, Andy. Thanks,
all right.
DJ.
See you guys.
You got to be like, and I don't want to say be careful, but like, it's cool to say, hey, I'm going to come and do all of this and do all of this, do all of this. But isn't there like a piece of that too, where like maybe the leadership is looking like, well, I mean, we've had a bunch of 24-year-old kids that all said the same thing.
Dude, look.
That haven't done anything.
Yes. The thing isn't say you're going to do this. It's do the shit,
right? Create
the value, and then ask later.
Right.
That's the thing. You know, everybody comes in and says, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be great. And I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And they want the pay up front.
Yep.
They want the opportunity up front. That is not how it works.
Them dudes heard that shit 1,000 times.
It doesn't work anywhere. It doesn't work anywhere. Think of if you work for yourself, dude. And you said, you know, you're going to cut grass. And you show up to someone's house. You've never cut their grass before. And you're going to charge twice as much. And you're and then you tell them, they're like, dude, it's twice as much. You're going to say, yeah, I'm doing twice as good of a job. They've never seen you do it. Right? No one's buying that. Okay? But if you go in there and you mow the grass and the stripes are perfect and the everything's trimmed nice and there's not a blade of grass out of place and all the leaves are picked up and everything's perfect. Okay? And then you hand them the bill and the bill is twice as much. They're going to say, why is it twice as much? You'll be like, look how great of a job I did. Right. And then there's going to be at least a thought process there, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
You might not get twice as much, but maybe you get, you know, a 50% increase. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to do the job and then have the ask for the opportunity or the money. That's how it works. Yeah. You know, like, I can't think of a situation that it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, it was just ringing through my head, man. Because, like, I mean, you've told, like, we've had, you know, plenty of conversations on this, but it's just like, you know, well, they don't believe. Well, why would they believe in you?
Yeah.
Why?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you get and here's the reality.
There yet?
Here's the reality, dude. If they were to pay you up front, you wouldn't do that great of a job.
Oh man,
that's human nature, bro. Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
You think you're going to be the one guy that like transforms the way humans have been for, you know, 12,000 years? You're not. People know. So, like, do a great job, show what you can do, then go in. If I was Hunter, bro, I would put myself in a position inside that company where the company really legitimately couldn't run without me. That's what I would do. I would work myself into that position. Then I would say, hey, by the way, here's the deal. I would like to do this and this and this. And I would like to get paid something more like this. And have a conversation after you've displayed the value. That's how it fucking works.
Pay us what you owe us, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
That's tomorrow, guys. I do love it though, man. Sick. Let's keep this. Let's keep this moving. I got it right in for you.
Okay.
Let's go. Question number 2. Hey, Andy.
Hey.
So I worked for a very small software company for 12 years. And about 8 months ago, I was offered the opportunity to buy out the owner who had basically just given up and was ready to move on. We worked out a very reasonable deal and just wrapped up the transition. I have 6 employees, all of which have been here for less than 2 years, and all are under the age of 26. Saying that to say this, I'm an old school tech guy. I love what I do, but never really took the responsibility of leading seriously or put the time in to better it. But after a few months of now running the business, these kids have lost their minds, and I see why the old owner left. Typically, this line of work is independent teamwork, so we all have our parts to play, but it's not day-to-day real group teamwork, and we will need that to move forward. I know my employees know how to do their jobs, but they are just lazy. And it's excuse after excuse to get things moving and done on time, and I simply don't have the patience for it. My mind is saying fire all of them and start fresh, but my heart is saying to try to get them realigned, but I don't have the skills of real leadership to do so. I really respect your advice and would love the help here.
There's 2 parts to this question. Number one, it's important to understand, and I give you credit for this, that just because you're skilled at one area and just because you own a company does not make you a leader, and certainly doesn't make you a great leader, all right? And you already recognize that, and that's a huge, huge, huge thing, because most people that have companies, they call themselves the CEO. They assume that they're a great leader because they have employees, not if their employees are actually productive or working as a team or developing as individuals. They just say, I'm a leader because I'm CEO, and that's just not the case. So I give you a lot of credit there for recognizing that. It's very similar to like guys that go to medical school for 12 years and then think that they can run a business because they went to become a doctor, or people who are lawyers that think they can run a business because they went to law school. It's a different skill set, and leadership is one of the skill sets inside that skill set. So you're going to have to learn it, and it sounds like you're committed to learning it, and you will commit to learning it your entire life if you want to be any good at it. So that being said, there's a lot of things to consider with the reality of how your employees are performing. Number one, is it you? Is it your leadership, your lack of leadership, your unskilled leadership that's creating a scenario where these people are not performing the way that you want? You have to answer that question up front. Yes or no. If that's not the case and you feel like you are dealing with people who, you know, like you said, have lost their mind. Look, man, here's the reality, dude. Sometimes you got to burn motherfuckers' asses, okay? Sometimes you got to get all the way up on them to where they are super uncomfortable to get people to perform. And sometimes people won't take you seriously until you get like that. Nobody likes to get like that. I don't like getting like that, but sometimes when people don't believe, especially in the early days, when you're trying to do something great, you are going to have to do it by force. And that is by any means necessary. So a lot of things today, people are like, well, I don't like the way he talked to me. Well, how about this? You're fired. How about that? You like that? You like the way I talked to you there?
You like that?
Okay. Because, dude, here's the reality. There's not much opportunity out there. There's not as much opportunity out there as a lot of people think. We're moving towards AI. Jobs are getting eliminated. If you're not of high skill and you don't contribute, you won't have a job anywhere because it's going to sweep across the entire job market. So, especially in tech, okay? You got these tech guys who have for years and years and years and years and years hid behind their magic knowledge of code. And, you ask them about when things are going to be done and they say, oh, well, I don't know. And we don't, it's just, it's a little harder than we thought, or it's not realistic. Dude, these people have lost their leverage. They don't have the leverage you think they have or that they think they have. So the reality here is this. You hold all the cards. they hold none. If you have a clear mission, a clear vision, and you paint that for them, and you continue to lead that way, and people still aren't doing what they do, and you've made it very clear this is going to happen regardless, yeah, maybe sometimes it is, what you need to do is get rid of them. I don't know if you have 6. I don't know if you need to get rid of all 6. You might need to get rid of 1 or 2. Find out who's causing the cancer. Find out who's causing the cultural infestation of laziness, because you're probably not dealing with 6 people that are fucked up. You're probably dealing with 1 or 2 that are infecting the rest of them. And I bet it would be the 1 or 2 people that you think are probably the best. And the reason I say that is this, because inside that little culture of 6 people, there is a leader, okay? And the leadership inside those little bubbles usually comes from the person who has the most skill. So if you want to dig deep into where the cancer is, you should look at the person with the most skill first, because in that little 6-person group, those people naturally look at that person as the ringleader. Okay, sometimes it's not, but from my experience, that's where we usually find it. But yeah, man, we live in this politically correct society. I think it's actually over now. I think people are back to their sanity. And, here's the truth, dude. You're not doing anybody any favors by letting them coast. You're not doing anybody favors in their life by letting them slack. You're not doing people any favors by letting them walk all over you or think that they have the leverage. Sometimes you just got to become a monster and let these know who the is in charge. That's the truth. And people don't like that. People will say, oh, that's not how you do things. Well, here's the reality, bro. What's the scoreboard say? Because the scoreboard says a lot to a little for every mother that leads that way. I don't know what to tell you. Do you want to win or do you want to lose? Okay? And that's that. Yeah. And if they don't respond to that, then get rid of them. And reality is you could find apps that'll program for you now. So a lot of employees for the last 15 years have been coddled, have been made to believe that their opinions or their political stances or the pronouns in their bios or all this shit matters. And it doesn't matter, and it never mattered. All right? Here's what matters. Do you put points on the scoreboard or don't you? And that's it. And we're back to that. We're back to that legally. Okay? This idea that we have to put people in positions because they are diverse or they're a woman or they're this person or that that's over. You can, without guilt, and should, for the interest of your company, yourself, everybody that's in your company, play the best on the field. That's it. Okay? And all this other shit doesn't matter. And you say, well, I don't know about that. Okay, well, are you helping the families of those 5 other people by playing someone in that 6th position who's not as good and shouldn't be there? No, you're hurting all of them. So you have to understand, dude, this happens by force. Every company that ever won anything or did anything great, legitimately, their leader was a tyrant sometimes. That was the truth, because you have to force it. You look at what people say about Elon. You look at what people say about Jobs. You look at what people say about Bill Belichick. You look at what people say about Saban. Yeah, he's calm until he isn't. Yeah. Right?
What you see.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, you got to have the monster in you, bro, and people got to respect it. And, I don't like bringing that out, but in the early days of our business, I had to bring it out a lot because people didn't believe. They didn't think I was serious. They thought that we were going to coast our way there. And you know what? Almost every single one of those they're still my friend, and they tell me on a regular basis how grateful they are that I was hard on them, because now they're doing something real in a different area of their life. So you're not doing anybody any favors by being, their buddy, quote unquote, and letting them slide by.
Yeah. I was thinking about this too, because, there's an age-old saying of like pressure makes diamonds, right? Like how many times, I guess, have you seen it? And I'm not saying it happens every time, but like where you have to apply that fire to, a couple of people or whatever have you. and they end up becoming your best people.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, so what's the reality of that?
I mean, look,
Of
dude,
that saying, I guess.
I think there's a lot of truth to it. I think you can overpressure people and break them for sure. But I think in most cases people only do their best work when they have to do their best work. No one does their best work when there's no pressure. No one's just sitting around and creates this amazing piece of or this amazing innovation in business or product or this or that under it doesn't happen like that. It happens under pressure. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a big, huge part. And if you don't apply pressure, you're going to have people that don't really produce. And that's that, man.
Yeah.
Do you really think you're going to get the 6 employees who want to run the score up to 100 just on their own? That's not how the fuck it works. You're the fucking leader, bro. You set the standards, you set the expectations, and it's their job to meet them or get the fuck out. And that's that. That's how the world works.
Yeah.
That's how the world works. And if you're a good leader, you will figure out that when you allow them to grow their position, their role inside of those wins, you start to get a team that buys in. And when they buy in, everybody wins because the company grows, they grow. It's way more fun when things are winning. And that's that. But sometimes, bro, it's not that fun. Sometimes it's not fun. Like a lot of people think that when a coach or a CEO or somebody has to get a manager has to get rowdy, they think that person likes that. That they don't like that. They would much rather not do that. They would much rather walk in and just say, hey, can you please do that? But the problem is if you're honest with yourself, you don't. So if you don't want to get, it's like they say, if you don't want the smoke, do your job.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's interesting today how we deal with people who think that showing up on time and staying until, the last minute of the day is somehow like
that's it.
No,
that's the standard.
No, they think that that's worth celebrating, bro. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've had people in my career come up to me and say, I deserve more. I work hard. I show up on time. I stay till 5 o'clock. It's like, yeah, that's called your job, bro. So we have this issue with a younger employees, especially who've never had to compete, never had to go hard, never had any pressure, never told that, you don't get a trophy for 17th place. You get a trophy for first place. And we're dealing with, in the job market with the younger people, a situation of bad parenting choices over the last couple decades, and that's what we got. Yeah. So at the end of the day, bro, there's plenty of people out there that want to win.
Yeah.
Last
little piece on this, because, he's talked about leadership too. Do you have couple of book recommendations that I guess what would be a good place to start?
Bro, I think one of the simplest things of the simplest, bro, there's 2 books that I like a lot about leadership. Okay. Actually 3 books. One is called The Lombardi Rules. It's very short. It's easy to read. The rules are very clear and they are very, very accurate. 2, there's a book on John Wooden. I think it's just called Wooden. It's a black book with his face on it. If you don't know who John Wooden is, he's one of the most famous, successful NCAA basketball coaches of all time. Wooden on Leadership. That's the name of the book. And then the 3rd book is Extreme Ownership by my friend Jocko Willink. Those 3 books give you a really good understanding comprehensively of what leadership's about. But none of them will say you have to crawl all the way up someone's ass to get them to move.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the Andy book.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. We got one more question here. Let's do another call in to finish things off. We have Andrew.
Fancy.
Good guy. Let's give him a call.
Good afternoon. This is Andrew.
Wow, that was very fancy there, Andrew.
Is this who I think it is?
Yeah, what's up, man? It's DJ.
Holy shit, dude. I'll tell you what, I stayed up late last night and I woke up and I see this text message and I'm like, you've been selected again for Andy's show. I got one on Friday. I'm like, man, I think I stayed up too late last night watching UFC fights. I got to be confused because there ain't no way the boss man is making them work on a Sunday, huh?
Oh yeah, every day, 24 hours. I don't even let these sleep.
Yep. Hey, man, got to win, man. That's how it
Andy,
works.
Yeah. What's up, brother? How are you?
hey, I'm doing great, man. How are you? It's very nice to finally meet you guys. Truly believe manifestation's real, and honestly, it's a complete honor to be here. It's a little weird. I've been listening to you guys every day for probably too long now. I want to say at least the last 4 years.
Well, did you start a
Every day for
revolution?
the
Did you start a
commute, so-
revolution yet?
You know what I mean? I'm working on it. My girlfriend's on my side now. She's
All
on
right,
the
there
show.
you go.
She's listening to it, and
All right.
doing the best I can. Share it every day. I swear I'm not a hoe.
Love it.
All right. Well, as long as you got one person, I know you're doing the work. So what's up, bro? What can we help you with today?
Oh man. All right. Yeah. Where do I get started? I guess first off and foremost, honestly, if, I'm a little bit of a yapper, so please feel free to shut me up. But I just want to thank you guys. I mean, like I said, I've been listening for years now, and this has been not only a great source of entertainment, but also education. I know many people my age, younger, older, kind of all feel pretty similar. Also, I gotta feel bad. I gotta be honest. I feel a little bad how many times I have to hear you repeat yourself, Andy, with the constant similar questions. So I really hope this isn't it. Also, I wanted to congratulate you guys on winning Le Mans. That is
Oh, thank you,
absolutely
bro.
incredible. Yeah, I mean, I've been a motorsport fan my whole life. So motorsport first, and then kind of came into business, and then followed you guys, and then obviously through following you, I started following Ryan Hardwick, and then through that whole journey from a few years ago, saying you were going to win to now, that's just honestly incredible. And watching it, I had goosebumps the whole time when I woke up and saw the results. I don't know, it was amazing as a fan, not only of the sport but as of the brand. It's such an incredible accomplishment, and just wanted to congratulate you guys.
Thank you, bro.
Honestly, that's awesome.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, man. Right. So my question, I mean, I had it typed out, under 60 words, and I guess I can mock that. But long story short, in the 60 frames or less, I'm 28. I just got laid off from my first six-figure job. I got brought on. I was actually poached from my last firm, and I got brought on to this bigger firm. I'm pretty much a sales rep, business development rep for a custom integration firm. We do high-end residential construction, lighting projects, AV projects, home theater, things of that nature. And yeah, so I was working for this company for about 6 months. I had a bunch of initiatives and targets to hit, and I was kind of crushing it all. It was nothing but praise from my management for the full 6 months. And then last Friday, I got called into the office kind of short term. And long story short, they kind of ran me through. The company had a really poor first quarter and second quarter collecting cash that was outstanding from previous proposals. And they had to let me go. And to be honest with you, man, it crushed me. I take my work very personal, and not only that, I've kind of forged this path completely on my own, and I'm really proud to be where I am. I mean, 4 years ago, I was in a ditch digging holes to pull wire. I mean, I was signed up to be a union electrician, and I was going through an apprenticeship program. And honestly, after listening to your show every single day in the ditch, I knew I wanted more for myself, and I knew that, the union wasn't going to provide for me what I personally wanted to achieve. And, obviously nothing against anyone who's chasing that dream, and I'm sure it can still provide a great career and a stable life for many people who want to live it, but I just wanted to chase more. And I listened to episode 208. I did my first Live Hard program, and unfortunately, to be completely transparent, I didn't keep it going as long as I probably should have. And back then I had wrote down all of my goals and I had mapped out what I wanted my life to be. And I think kind of the biggest problem I had with that exercise is that just the main thing that I couldn't identify is what I wanted to do. So I just figured out that the best thing I could do from the union was to get back into sales. So I needed a few years to kind of forge my way through, and I finally found this little industry. And to be honest with you, since last Friday, a lot's happened. I've already had 5 interviews in the industry. I have 2 second-round interviews scheduled for next week. I have to travel to Long Island to go ahead and meet one of the big firms as a competitor. And I even left my last firm with letters of recommendation from both my CEO and my sales manager. So, this was just a big shock, and I take my clients very personal. I mean, these relationships that we build, we're dealing with a lot of private clients, high net worth individuals, celebrities. Kind of you name it, we do it. And, building that connection with these clients and advising them over the years of, what technology to use in their new projects or whatever it might be, although it might sound simple to me, I took a lot of pride in it. So to kind of have it stripped away from me, I just felt totally lost. And I guess my ultimate question to you really would be, with the few years experience that I've developed in this field, it seems like it would be somewhat transferable, to take this kind of high stakes, high net worth, high ticket sales experience, and transfer it into another industry if need be. But, kind of since last Friday, obviously, I know what I have to do short term is, get back on my feet and establish, income again. But, my only thought about this and chasing this industry was that I don't know if it would ever be able to achieve my long-term goal, my big goal. And, I know everything has to happen in steps, and I know I got to start somewhere, and I'm very proud of the short-term success I've gained in this industry. I just kind of don't really know what to do from here, and I don't know if I'm wasting my time.
How old are you?
28.
Okay. Look, dude, there's basically 3 skills that are required to be successful at anything that will transfer anywhere. All right. And your job is to build these skills within yourself. 1 is sales. Okay. You're already working on that. You're already doing that. Number 2 is management or leadership. I don't know if you were running guys or if you had a crew or if you had a team under your own position or not. But if you did, great. If you didn't, that's okay, because that will come along. The better of a salesperson that you come, eventually you will find your way into managing other salespeople. Number 3, you said you kind of created this little avenue for yourself, which sort of goes into the third category of people that become successful, which is people who can identify a problem, take the initiative to solve the problem without ever being told, and then report the findings or the results of the solution of that problem with their own initiative. All right. So what you're learning and what you're doing in your previous, up until last Friday situation is definitely transferable into other areas. But you've got to make a decision on where that is. And that decision can be made around a lot of different things. How much money do you want to make? How much time do you want to spend with your family? What's the trade-off for that? Do you like the people that you're working with? Do you not like the people that you're working with? There's all kinds of things that go into this decision. But the good news is that you're learning the fundamental skills to transfer over to any of those things. So, in the short term, like you said, you're going to have to, get some income coming in. But in the long term, 28 is still very young, bro. And I know you probably feel like it's old, but dude, at 28 years old, I was living with my dad. Okay. I had to move back in with my dad at 27 years old because I was so broke. Okay. So don't think that you're behind. You're making way more money than I was making at that age. And if you continue to develop your skills and take your work seriously. Like, for example, you said, you know, I take my relationships with my customers very serious and personal. Dude, you're not going to have any problems getting where you want to go. You're already way ahead of the game. And I know it doesn't feel that way because you're probably thinking, I should be here, like we always think. But like I say on the show all the time, dude, if you're ambitious, if you're driven, if you want to achieve, you're going to always feel like you're behind. You're going to always feel like there's more to do. You're going to always feel like there's more skills to learn. And that's a great thing because that hunger is what forces you to develop and pushes you into the realm of the next level. So, dude, I don't think you're as lost as you think you are. I think you're just in a natural position in life where you've learned a really valuable lesson. And the valuable lesson should be, bro, that when things aren't going well, it doesn't matter how much you contribute, you could be on the block. And, you know, the fact that your company wrote you letters of recommendation, a couple of them, speaks massively to how valuable you are. So, yeah, in the short term, dude, I would get it where you can get it. And in the long term, I would, and by the way, in long term, I mean the next like 2 years, I'd be working towards creating something or building something or getting in somewhere where you're going to meet your long-term goals for yourself. You know, I talk to a lot of you guys as entrepreneurs all the time. You know, a big part of being a successful entrepreneur is getting yourself on the right team, right? If you're on a team of a company who's been run 3 generations and the 3rd generation doesn't give a shit about growing the company, it doesn't matter how good you are, you're going to lose. So you've got to be smart enough and aware enough to put yourself into a place where there's tremendous upside. And if you're not ready to do that right now, what I would do is, you know, pay the bills with the skills that you have right now and then start to create this, you know, new path of where you want to be. But I wouldn't wait. I wouldn't get the job and then say, oh, one day I'm going to do this. I would get the thing that's going to pay the bills, and I would immediately start working on your nights and weekends to figure out a scenario that's going to get you where you want to go. Because, dude, regardless of what people say on the internet, we only have a limited amount of time. That's the reality. And as a 28-year-old man, you probably have 12 more years to really set your path in the right direction for the rest of your life. Because the truth of the matter is once people are in their 40s and 50s, they don't get the same opportunities as people in their 20s and 30s. So that would be what I have to say to you. What do you think?
No, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I think my main concern, you know, kind of with all of it is making sure, like you said, I have those 12 to maybe 15 years to put in, you know, to really get my roots in the ground. And I just want to make sure that I'm doing that, you know, in the right place. And, you know, when I started back in this, you know, little niche industry, I was definitely not in the right place for my first year and a half, and I knew that. So when the time was right and I got poached, it was okay, and I was ready to go, and I was really happy where I was at. Right now that was kind of taken away, I'm really trying to be picky, I think, of, you know, where my next firm is going to be if I'm staying in this. But like you also said, you know, I already acknowledged internally that I am an entrepreneur as opposed to an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And I read Tim Grover's book, you know, and reading that, I found, you know, it was a little polarizing from one side to another, but I definitely think I was more of a cleaner than I was a closer. And, you know, kind of where I'm at in life, I don't have kids. I'm not married yet. It's just me and my girl. We're kind of free to go where we want. You know, I'm really pitching myself to these new firms for growth and development in terms of expansion. You know, and I think that's a good play, but unfortunately, I think where I'm at, I just, only time will tell if it's going to be a good place. And, you know, hearing your words of encouragement, and not that I think I needed the reassurance that I'm kind of doing a good job and I'm not far behind. You know, it's great to hear, especially coming from someone like you. I do greatly appreciate that. But at the same time, I need to make sure I'm doing absolutely everything I can do to make sure I win. And, you know,
oh, I'm not saying
like
that. I'm not saying that to make you feel good. I'm saying that to tell you, like, you better go right now. You know, you're doing good,
exactly. There's no,
but
no
don't go
wasting
sit
time.
on the fucking bench. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, don't get a
Right.
job
Yeah.
and say, "Oh, I'm making a 150, 200 grand a year," and you know in your heart that you want to make 2 million or 5 million or whatever, and just sit there and wait. It's not going to happen. You got to go do it. So
I don't know. Yeah, and I think that's kind of like the next phase of my worries is figuring out what that is. And you know, I think I've always struggled with that internally of what's
bro,
the
you're
passion that
fucking
would drive me.
listen. You're 28. Of course you're going to struggle with that. Of course you're going to struggle with what to do with my life. Bro, I'm 45 years old, and I think about it all the time. I'm like, am I doing the right thing?
Yeah.
Is all you guys look at me and you're like, dude, Andy's got it figured out. The fuck I do, bro. I come in here every day with these guys. You could ask any one of them, and I'm like, hey, what should we do this? Maybe we could do this. Maybe we could do better at this. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I just never quit. And dude, that feeling that you have of uncertainty is a tremendous asset to you, because most people your age don't have that. They don't get anxious or urgent until they're 38 years old and they're like, holy shit, this isn't what the fuck I wanted. Okay? You've already recognized that, brother. You've already recognized that early on. So that's a great thing. The anxiety, the worry, the concern, these are great things for you because most people don't have them. And the world will tell you, Andrew, you're very up for feeling anxious, and you know what? You should probably take a pill. Maybe you should just say, this is what I want, and I'm going to do it instead. You know, like, bro, look, man, the point I'm trying to make is it's normal. If you're an achiever, if you're a winner, if you're someone that's going to build something or become something, worrying about making the right choices is a very good sign that you are aware enough. And because you have that awareness, you will make the right choices. Where people really fuck up is when they don't think like you're thinking. They think they have all the time in the world. They find another job in the realm of what it is that you do, telling themselves that I'm going to make $2 million one day, or one day I'm going to live this life, and changing nothing, and then being surprised when they're in their mid-40s that the shit that they wanted never materialized. All right? And then they're in a big problem because now you are kind of out of range in age for a lot of things, and it becomes much harder. And no matter what Gary Vee says, I love Gary, when you're 45, you have less options than when you're 35. And when you're 35, you have less options than when you were 25. And taking away your 20s and your 30s, doing shit, yeah, I mean, you can recover, but it makes it a lot harder. And that's just the truth of the matter. So you're in a good spot, bro. And what you're thinking and what you're analyzing and the way that you feel that's how winners think, brother. Like, I'm just telling you, that's how winners think.
I hear you. I got nothing to say other than I got work to do. I mean, I know exactly what I have to do, and I appreciate the reinforcement.
Yeah, brother. Listen,
Thank you.
Sales, management, and taking the initiative to identify a project, see it through without having to be told. If you could develop those 3 skills, you will write your own check, whether it's in your own company or somebody else's company. It's real shit. So people are always starving. Companies are always starving for skilled individuals. The job market is always amazing for people who have real skill. The job market is not always amazing for people who show up, hide in the corner, don't contribute, and, watch the clock all day. The job market is for those people. But bro, if you're a killer, you're always going to have a place. It doesn't matter if AI it doesn't matter. It's going to be in demand. So just keep working on those skills, bro, and you're going to find your way. I have no doubts about it. Most dudes that are 28, dude, they think they got all the time in the world because they got all these dudes on the internet telling them, yeah, Colonel Sanders started at 63 years old. Bro, Colonel Sanders was frying chicken for 30 years before he even started. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't talk about that part of it, So, anyway. All right, listen.
Well, when I get to that point, then, I'm coming down to St. Louis, and I'm
Good.
the best goddamn sound system you've ever heard in your house.
Well, dude, I don't even give a if it's sound. I don't care if it's sound. Learn how to lead, learn how to sell, and learn how to see projects through from beginning to end, and you'll have a place anywhere. I'll plug you into any. I got a bunch of companies. I could plug people like that in at will anywhere. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's not exclusive just to putting in sound systems. It's a skill set that can be transferred from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing, because those skills are always in demand, bro. So, yeah, go develop your skills and come down here, and I'll plug you in somewhere and we'll beat some ass. How about that?
That sounds good to me.
All right.
In the meantime, you got to get First Form on the East Coast, man. I tried contacting your team 2 weeks ago. All I got is Vitamin Shop, and they don't have anything new. I talked to the store managers, bro. They don't want to give anything in here yet. I'm trying to get them in gas stations. Everywhere I go, I want to see First Form.
Well, I mean, by the end of the year, we will be everywhere. 200-something thousand doors. So
I don't want this bullshit.
It'll be there soon.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. All right, bro.
Guys,
I appreciate
honestly,
you, Andrew.
Thank you so much.
All right, brother. Have a
DJ,
good day.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, bro. It's so reassuring to get a lot of the younger guys in and like excited about winning, dude.
They're not just excited, they're worried.
Yeah.
Okay, like, look,
There's
dude,
concern.
being excited about winning is way less powerful than being terrified that you're not going to win.
Man.
Okay, when you're terrified that you're not going to win and you're going to be broke and you're not going to be able to eat, you're not going to be able to pay your bills, that's when the dog comes out, bro. That's when you figure out who the fuck you are. Okay, so I'll take someone who has massive anxiety, massive worry about winning, and is fearful of losing over someone who wants to win 1,000 times out of 1,000, because that urgency and that fear will drive them into producing. Okay, I don't have anybody backing me the f up. I've never had someone in my entire adult life back me the f up. Okay, so what did it do? Oh, it made Andy crazy. You're right. It made me crazy. It made me crazy competitive. It made me crazy detail oriented. It made me look at every single thing every single day, even though I'm 26 years in business, as a plus or a minus to whether or not we're going to win or not. It made me look at every single detail from the top of the list to the bottom of the list. Big, small. Like, bro, you come here to First Form, there's no water droplets in our sink. There's no piss droplets on our toilets. Every place in here is spectacularly, perfectly clean. You could eat off of our warehouse floor. Do you know where that came from? That comes from years and years and years of getting your ass beat and realizing that the only way to win is by being better than everybody else. And so, like, dude, once you figure that out, because you're terrified of losing everything, winning becomes really easy. Because you're willing to do anything. You're willing to do whatever it takes. And that is what it takes to win. There's this false expectation that you can coast and you can cut corners and you can have the right relationships and blah, 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 and all these things. And that's where people's minds are. People's minds are, how can I get the most while doing the least? But that's not where my mind is. And my mind isn't there because I didn't have anybody to rely on. So my mind is, to get the most, I got to do the most. Because and it's funny because people will say, well, Andy's not very humble. Actually, I'm extremely humble. Let me explain to you why. Because I know that if I don't do the best job in every detail of my life, I'll lose. I know I'm not good enough to win without giving my best. How is that not humble? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro.
So, like, dude, just because I drive a nice car or every day of the month, all right, doesn't mean I'm not humble. What it means is I'm living the rewards of actually being extremely humble by knowing that I have to be perfect, and then moving that culture of absolute attention to detail, being perfect the best I can down through our people, which our people do a tremendous job at it 99% of the time. So, dude, I will take those people who are fearful over people who just think it's fun to win. I mean, dude, legitimately 1,000 times out of 1,000.
Yeah.
They got something to fight for. They got something they're afraid of. Like, bro, there's nothing worse for me than thinking about like going back to where I was. I mean, dude, I'll fucking do whatever I got to do. If I got to sleep up here every night, if I got to eat 2 tons of dog shit, 1 bite at a time, I'll sit there and do the whole thing. It is what it is. That's what it takes. Whatever the fuck it takes, bro. It's whatever it takes. It doesn't matter what that is. Does not matter. If you got to hike across the Sahara Desert, then you fucking do it. If you got to swim down the Nile full of alligators, you fucking do it. Whatever the fuck you got to do, bro. Whatever you got to do. That's what the fuck it takes. And dude, people who want to win casually don't do those things because it's like, well, I don't feel like doing that. Because winning.
You want to win, but
I do, but now I'm not doing that.
Alligators, though, man.
Yeah, and the guy who's afraid of losing, that guy's like, all right, well, I can either lose this or I can swim down the river with some alligators and hope that I don't get eaten. And then they get in the river.
Alligators, it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro.
I love it, man. I love it, man. Guys, Andy, that's a hell of a way to start a Monday, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Whatever it takes.
All right, guys. Well, listen, it is whatever it takes. That's the lie of society, okay? The lie of society is that you can win without doing whatever it takes, and you just can't. You're not that good. I'm not that good. Nobody's that good. Nobody. Okay. So to think that you can get by and build a career as an entrepreneur or build a career as an entrepreneur doing what you feel like doing as opposed to what the it takes is a false expectation. There are too many people who are high skilled, have tons of experience, have tons of resources, and have come from nothing and are willing to do whatever the it takes that you cannot beat them unless you at least at a bare minimum do everything perfect. And that's the disconnect between, people, what they think it takes to win and what it actually means to be a competitor and win. And, I think I'm grateful that a lot of people don't get it because it makes it easier to win.
Right.
But I mean, if you're listening to this show and you want to win and you think you're going to half-ass, there's people in your industry, whatever you do, whether it's sweeping the warehouse floor or running a multi-billion-dollar company that quite honestly are willing to probably do way more than you're willing to do. And unless you're willing to literally like fight them and kill them to win, you won't win. You won't win. It's that competitive. It's the most competitive thing on planet Earth is your career and your business. I don't know how to explain it any different than that. It's a false expectation, bro. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, go out there and do it, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, man. Guys, Andy, that was 3.
All right, guys. Don't be a hoe.
Share the show.